Hey everyone, this handsome dude here is my friend Arvindh Sundar. We are at TTOX Coimbatore. I'm just supremely excited to be having him on camera because I think this is the first time we're representing the Dungeons and Dragons hobby or the community that is there in India, and he's probably one of the best DMs in the last 6.5 years of me being introduced. No, it's just amazing. So, Arvind, can you just introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Arvindh. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since 2019, and I've been, running a home game for the past 5 years now.
What?
Yes. We started.
When do you have time for all this?
Alternate Sundays, 4 hours, 2 to 6.
Oh my goodness!
And Dungeons and Dragons is something that I play with my daughter, my friends, and colleagues.
I'm excited to tell you more about what he does and the whole hobby and the community around Dungeons and Dragons, the product, who does it, who makes it, how you can build worlds and imaginary worlds out of this and stories out of this. Meeting Arvind, for the first time, I had no clue that he was into D&D.
Yes.
And when did you introduce this whole thing to me, saying I actually do?
If I recall correctly, the first time I reached out to you was because you were running a photography outfit, and I wanted a job.
Creative studio.
And then life happened, and then I'm like, I think we come to your store once to check out one. Like I think it was Yuddhabhumi when it was there. I'm like, oh yeah, I just been playing Dungeons and Dragons, but I wanted to expand, and one thing led to another. And ta-da!
No, I always knew he was great at public speaking, and that's how I'm a big fan.
Oh, wow.
I watched your couple of the videos that you shared on Instagram or YouTube or LinkedIn. I think
I've done a bunch of stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, when we first met Arvind, it was completely for something else, and he actually was very curious to learn about what we are doing, what is the kind of stories that we're telling, and suddenly one day he says, "Anna, I want to run D&D sessions." I mean,
I remember why as well. Okay, so when I met Falgun and I was hearing about Mosaic Games, Board Games Bazaar, TTOX, he has this distinct focus on Indian stories and Indian culture and how he wants to take it to the world. And I was like, wait a second, there is a perfect vehicle that I know of which would work beautifully for that, and that was tabletop RPGs, particularly D&D. I'm like, I've been running a game since 2019. I would be more than happy to take on Indian stories and present them. In fact, even today at TTOX, I'm running a snake. Well, it's not exactly Sridevi type Nagini thing, but yes, we do have a snake, very Indian snake-based adventure.
Well, I played that, so I know how it is.
I've improved it.
Okay, now I'm even more scared. We had goosebumps at one point of time when we played the game.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, I can't wait to hear what the rest of the people are going to do. So, one very interesting thing about D&D is the storytelling and how the DM has planned out the entire structure, from the start to finish. And the beauty about D&D is you have to improvise,
Yes,
right? That's
yes.
a pretty stressing.
Depends. All right. So the way it works is a brief introduction for D&D, like 30 seconds for people who haven't played. You have a bunch of people sitting around a table and telling stories using their imagination. And whenever there is some sort of variation in outcome where you don't know what's going to happen, you roll a dice and you say, "Oh, you rolled a 20." Then something happens.
Man.
I know, I did. I rolled a 20.
What are the odds?
Yeah, I know. 1 in 5%. That's the odds. So what happens is the dungeon master describes a situation, and then the players say, "Okay, this is what they want to do in the situation," and then the dungeon master would resolve their actions and then tell them what happens, then describe a new situation. And all of this is happening in imagination, but we will occasionally have things like pictures and maps and other what do you call them? Other
But
assets.
I think the core is still the dice.
It is. It's definitely the dice. It has a bunch of it has like 7 different dice in different shapes. The biggest one is a 20-sided die. Then we have 10-sided, 12-sided, 6, 8, and 4. But the core thing is, as a DM, you prepared some sort of a story, right? Mentally, you're imagining like it's a movie or something. And as the DM or the dungeon master, you have some sort of a plan of the story and how you want it to go. But there are two sources of randomness that happen in all of these stories. One is, of course, the dice. The second is the player action, right? You describe a situation. Let's say that, hey, you hear a shouting coming from the bushes. What do you do? Somebody might say, I want to run away. And others will be like, I will, go investigate. So the story can go in either ways. And that's where the improv
100%. I
comes in.
think you got to figure out what. Like I remember we have a friend. I think he's extremely aggressive in a game world, but in a real world, I think he's the most down to earth person when you talk. He's a teacher. He teaches kids. Um,
Mr. Robot.
yeah. So it was very. I think that's also another thing about D&D where you can create your own characters. So what he's been doing for the last a few years is to shorten the experience where you give this in a bite-sized format.
Yes.
So that's called a
Introductory session.
one shot or
So here at TTOX, one awesome thing that we are doing, it's not just me this time, there's another DM as well.
exactly
Yay!
who has been mentor trained by.
So we in a 3 to 4 hour session, we are teaching people how to play D&D, at least the bare basics version, and we are running them through an adventure as well.
Yeah.
There are handy cheat sheets, and you start rolling dice like almost immediately, and it's a lot of fun.
I mean, the first thing is how to grab their attention and hold that attention throughout the game. And also, I think are most D&D campaigns collaborative?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, that's a very interesting thing that you bring up, because I want to touch upon the benefits of playing D&D. I mean, we know about the benefits of playing board games, right? Like dopamine, oxytocin. But D&D also introduces
And dopamine, yeah.
and dopamine, right? A lot of imagination and creativity comes in. I play this with my daughter, who's 6 years old. There is a lot of teamwork and collaboration that comes in, right?
Yeah.
When you're working with other people in your adventuring party and you're looking to solve problems, there is communication skills. There is ability to solve problems, to think laterally. A lot of the things that we all wish we learned as kids, but hey, you learn it by playing games.
Yeah, I think, and what will happen if all the players decide to be of a particular character class?
It will be a fun campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, so see, that's
Okay.
another beautiful thing, right, about D&D. You never know what to expect. And let's say 5 players turn up and all of them decided to be clerics. You'll be like, okay, now you are a roving band of clerics, and you'll have to approach the same challenge in a particular lens.
Yes.
A lot of replayability there.
Right. So, what are the main things that defines a particular character class?
So you can think of classes as professions,
Right.
And the most popular or common ones are, say, barbarian, ranger, fighter, monk, wizard, things like that.
Right.
And each one has a specific play style, which means that the experience that you'll have when you're interacting with the game, when you're trying to solve problems in the game, right? You're going to be relying on your class features.
Okay.
A lot of it is oriented towards combat, but there are, for example, the bard or the warlock,
Right.
who are particularly predisposed towards being the face, charismatic, talking to people.
Okay.
So that definitely affects the gameplay. But in particular, every character is defined by some core attributes.
Okay.
You have strength, intelligence, dexterity, wisdom, charisma, and constitution.
Wow.
And there's a very popular example on the internet about tomatoes, right? Strength is about how hard you can throw a tomato. Dexterity is how well you
What an
can
analogy.
dodge a tomato. What else was that? Constitution is how much health you get when you eat a
When
tomato.
you eat a tomato.
Yes.
Okay.
What else is there? There's this charisma. There's intelligence, which is knowing that tomato is a vegetable. It's a fruit, not a vegetable.
Right.
Wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad. And charisma is
Gross.
being able to sell me a fruit salad which contains tomatoes.
Okay, now I think I can never forget this. So basically, these character classes are sort of mutually exclusive, or there's a slight overlap.
So there is some overlap.
Okay,
Right?
and these are defined by someone.
Yes. So Wizards of the Coast. Right?
Wizards of the Coast.
They are the company that has created D&D, and at the time of this recording, there's a future version of D&D also in the works. What happens is that there's a lot of leeway. Like, let's say if you choose to play a fighter, and I also choose to play the same fighter, we could play it in distinct ways. Like, you might be the Lone Ranger, bow and arrow type, whereas I might be the very talkative Robin Hood type, right? And both of us are playing the same, archer type character. Yeah, but a lot of it comes down to the relationship the players have with the DM. When you speak to the DM, you can reflavor anything. Like, let's say that one of my players, right? I made him an Indian-themed bow. It's called the Adrisya Arisudana.
What?
Yes, it means the invisible killer or something like that, right? And for him, like, he plays like the same, like stats-wise, the same as a normal longbow. But when he's holding it, he sticks his hand out, and then smoke and shadows, just like, and he doesn't have like a quiver, right? So he has like a custom leather thing with like loads of.
So it's like
kind of like Hawkeye
this
sort
is,
of
this
thing.
is Legolas
on steroids like this. But see, like mechanics wise, it's the same thing. But that flavor, which fuels my player's imagination and helps the others at the table visualize a more rich and diverse
So the beauty
experience.
about it is, I think DM's job is extremely difficult because it's not just about the storytelling. I mean, you know, some of the DMs have, like you, have the epic skill of narrating in a very story-like where you grip their attention and stuff like that. But a lot of people also focus on the theme and the story content as well. So it's not like, and I think that's what it reduces the entry barrier for a lot of people.
Yes, and for whoever's watching this, you don't have to be like
Super
a big story.
talented and
No.
skillful that way. Yeah.
The way you make this game interesting is if you put the player first and you design around them, right? So in game design and psychology, there's something called the Bartle player types, right?
Okay.
So essentially, it's like some players are achievers, some players like to complete the game, some players like the social aspect, some like the exploration aspect.
Absolutely.
Before you start the game, you would do something called a session zero.
Correct.
In this, you would actually speak to your players and understand, all right, what do you like? What do you don't like? What is okay for you in the game? What is not okay for you in the game? You take all of that as a DM.
So you don't put them in an uncomfortable.
No, you don't.
But don't they choose the character class based on what they're comfortable with, or
Sure,
or experiment with? And it doesn't have to be a mirror of their personality.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
I think that's another amazing thing.
It is. You can be whoever you want to be, right? And in many ways, that's very liberating. And you can try things that you never wanted.
Yeah, we've seen so many people, guys choosing a female character and women choosing a guy's character.
Surprisingly, many women are very bloodthirsty. It's like
Bloodthirsty.
Yes.
I have seen this.
Every convention game, we have it.
I think this is something which we required in India for a long time. Getting people together, it's a story in your head, which has to be communicated to the rest of the people and transport them into that world. Right? And the beauty is, as you said, in our world of game design, we call it player agency, where you give the agency to the player, where they can take actions and decide what they want to do and describe how they did it. That's the beauty about it, and I love the way you make them describe it and the way you describe it as well.
I just want to build on one thing that you said. I have something in my head that I want to bring forth, right? But a very good lesson that I learned from the internet is draw maps and leave blanks. The reason for that is I have some sort of an idea in my head, but it's probably like 60-70% of the way there.
Okay.
When the players come in, they can add their own things. For example, yesterday I was brainstorming with Shashank, and I was like, hey, how do I do this particular thing? And he came up with a ritual that we could do on the spot. That wasn't a part of my work. But when a player brought that in, it is now officially canon. So it's co-creating with the players. I, as the DM, providing the chassis, but they're kind of adding the other
it's just
parts.
giving them the platform of sorts.
It's like a pizza. You know, I have the base. They have the top. We had pizza last time.
Oh, it was amazing. So 50-60% is what you bring, and the remaining
Yes.
40% is added by the players themselves.
Yes.
So you're co-creating a story
Yes.
and a game and an
Yes.
experience.
Yes.
So is it too expensive to get into the hobby?
Ooh, honestly, you could get started for free.
Okay.
Like literally, there is something called the basic rules that you can
Basic
get online.
rules. Okay.
And
So you can just download it
Yes, from the Wizards of the Coast
Wizards of
website,
the Coast.
and you get like dice roller apps online. But I would recommend.
Yeah, something about the tactile.
Yes,
feel
yes,
of
yeah. I
this,
highly
you know,
recommend like
rolling it. And,
a starter set.
Yeah,
that you can get or
absolutely.
essentials kit.
Yeah.
That would be a very, very good investment as a DM. And once you level up, you can.
I gave him this dice tower.
Yes, he did. This-
It's a 3D printed dice tower. It has these cool. Oops! Oh no!
this happens, right? Sometimes the roll of fate takes the dice away from you, but you just improvise and you go on while back to
Yeah.
your fun.
So this has a cool window, and you can actually see the light stream through it when you.
Are you serious?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh shit.
So you can actually check it out with.
I will
torch.
certainly do that.
Yeah, so it's very cool. And we are really honored to have him and be associated.
It's
and
my privilege.
He's
to,
like my best friend, brother, mentor in many ways.
I'm heavier than him too. So.
And also, we've come from Bangalore to do this. People have taken trains and flights and buses, overnight buses.
Last night as well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, people have been still traveling right now as we speak. Getting everybody under one roof was my agenda from day one, and a lot of people have supported us to do this. It's not a one-man thing, and I did not ask him to come and do this. He's voluntarily
For the love of the
here.
game, all right?
And we are honored, we are grateful. I can't thank you enough.
And likewise, he's been able to bring together a bunch of people and actually make an event happen. There's so much of inertia
I'm
that
just
you've had
happy.
to overcome.
I'm just happy.
Same here, man. We just want to play now.
Yeah, exactly. He has an amazing collection of dice, and he's one DM who can actually transport you into a world with just pebbles. So you could be sitting on the
Yeah.
beach and ask him, "Hey, Arvindh, let's play Dungeons and Dragons here." He would totally
2 minutes.
make
Let
it.
me download this app. I'm like,
And
ready.
he'll
Let's
probably
go.
just draw the stuff, and these rocks are your enemies, and
And, this is
structures
beautiful.
and stuff.
Okay, you've highlighted
Yeah.
a very important aspect, which is accessibility of the game. Right? You could be a college kid, sitting in Tiruvananthapuram, right? Or you could be a high-flying lawyer sitting in like Dubai and going to Frankfurt. Both of you can enjoy the same game at the same time. You might be playing with like digital dice and online PDFs, or you might have like gold-plated sets. But the game, it is still the game. It doesn't
Right.
change.
So the core is still there. If you want to
I'm getting
bling it,
goosebumps.
you can still bling it.
Yes.
We love to bling our stuff. He's very
I'm very-
plain vanilla when it comes to Dungeons and
Take you
Dragons.
to a story.
So thank you so much.
Thank you very
for
much
what
for
you're
the
doing,
opportunity.
and I think people are waiting for your
Yeah?
session.
All right,
So
let's go.
let me not stop you.
Yes.
Do you want to show the cool stuff?
Yeah,
you have?
so I have some stuff here. These are essentially monster cards that I had purchased from Wizards of the Coast. They help me give like a nice pictorial representation of different monsters, in fact, that I'm going to be using in today's adventure.
And you can make your own monsters.
Yes,
So it
yes, you can
doesn't stop
completely
you.
reflavor them. I have the starter set, so I have the rule book here as well, so that people can use it to refer to the rules. This is the Dungeon Master's screen, right? So
You
usually,
really need it.
yeah.
So
you got-
on the back side is a lot of stuff.
Yes. So these contain like ready to refer kind of rules for the DM, and most of you will be starting off as players, which is good. Your DM can help you, and have a dice tower. with a bunch
But
of
the dice, you'll need at
need
least
a
a
set.
D20 and a D8 should do, right?
I would recommend the full set.
Full set.
Yeah. It's 7
Okay.
dice, and they come in sets only.
Correct,
so
correct.
It's worth it.
Yeah, let's source more of those into
Yes.
India. All right. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, sir.
All right, let's not
Appreciate
waste any more of your time.
Yes.
Okay, people are waiting for you, and I hope the next few TTOX events you're going to be with us and run
Of
events.
Of course.
And he's actually before we end this, tell us a bit about the 10K DM project.
Right. So when I started D&D, I struggled a lot to learn how to DM because I didn't know anybody in my circle who could play or even run a game.
Okay.
And I must have scoured and poured like countless hours learning how to run the game. It was quite challenging, right? And I realized that, oh, maybe, if I get more and more players to play, that's a good thing. It is, right? More players getting in. But the real bottleneck is that we don't have enough DMs. So I started this project called 10,000 DMs or 10K DMs for short, where I want to help 10,000 people become dungeon masters.
Okay.
Because think about it, every DM can run for at least another 4-5 people
Easily.
and that's like 50,000 people who get into the hobby. So I just finished the pilot, so thank you for being a part of that. And it's a work in progress, right? So in fact, first graduate, he's running a game.
Oh
today.
yeah.
Yes. So
I mean, there are plenty of more in the hall right now who are part of the workshop. I think I just want to end this by saying D&D is it's gender neutral, age neutral. He's done campaigns for 6-year-olds.
my daughter is 6. She's
Yeah.
played. I run it for a 83-year-old.
Yeah, you ran.
as well.
He ran a session in our
With your
board
mom as
game.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my mom was part of it, and she was collaborating
Yes.
with all of these people. I was like, oh man, wow, so cool. And she said, yeah, it's a very interesting experience. I'm like, wow, okay. So yeah, so have fun. Don't hesitate. And,
Play more games, that's all.
Yes. So how do we follow you?
I'm on Instagram
Okay.
at Put the Player First.
Put the player first.
Yes.
And I think that hashtag can actually find you in
Yeah,
other
yeah.
social media.
That should be alright.
Okay. So he's on LinkedIn as well. He, in fact, tell us a bit about your puttheplayerfirst.com.
So, Put the Player First is a framework I created, which is a foundation for transformation. Okay. Now that sounds very high, but if you want to go through any change in your life or in your company, that is a fantastic framework, and it's inspired by games like D&D. You have a hero who's stuck in a broken world because of monsters.
Okay.
They want to get to paradise, and they can't. So one day, a guide comes in, gives them quests, helps them defeat these monsters and get to paradise, which is pretty much what an
So
adventure
he
is.
knows that entire journey of a hero, right?
Yes, yes.
The way he's drawn parallels to building a business and your marketing, branding, anything, in fact,
pretty
right?
much. Yes.
I think I was the first. Did you test it first time on?
It was not the first time, but it was definitely the earlier avatars.
Okay, so Mosaic Games, when we were rebranding our games from Dice Toy Labs to Mosaic, he actually helped us a lot with the rebranding. We did a 7-day workshop or something, right?
It was-
Oh my goodness, this was like what?
It was
four
spread
years
out,
back.
but yes.
Yeah. Amazing.
I've come a long way since then, so it's good.
Yeah.
You're due for a rebrand again.
Yeah, really. Do you feel?
Nah, just-
Okay, we should do it for TTOX.
We will.
All right, thank you so
All right.
much, guys. We have a lot more videos planned for the next 2 days. We have so much content to create. People from all walks of life are here. Game schooling in one hall, designers, publishers, Dungeons and Dragons, MTG happening in one hall, games, big game library right behind us. So people are coming and got their own games to play here. So I'm pretty excited for today and tomorrow. And keep watching.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye.